Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
With a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't think the New York Knicks were going to take game 4 in Indianapolis and even the series at 2-2 because it didn't happen. They got Halliburton again, just like Bennett told you they would. So it's now 3-1, and if you know anything about the history of the NBA playoffs, once we get to 3-1, we almost always know where we're headed. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Oh, look who's going to be here in about 20 minutes. It's Chris Vernon from the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. Nobody better to talk to on what I have labeled Thunder Up Day. Today is National Thunder Up Day because Oklahoma City will punch a ticket to the NBA Finals. Chris Vernon will join me to talk about it. He'll be here in about 20 minutes. Finish talking to him, we're going to take a break. Then we'll come back. Then we'll do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the University of Memphis has secured a commitment from a fella named William Wharton. Sounds like an accountant, but he's actually a basketball player. Averaged 3 points per game last season at South Dakota State. I'll tell you more about him in about 40 minutes. I told you I was thinking about doing it on Wednesday afternoon. I actually did it. St. John's is the new number 1 in the top 25 and 1. I'll try to justify my decision. We'll do that in just a bit. Another day, another wild story. WREG.com. I'm telling you, WREG.com is the craziest website on the internet.
It's always delivering, yes.
Just chaos every day. I'm going to give you the latest wild story. We'll do that one a little later on in the show. NFL legend Terry Bradshaw blasted the Steelers for their interest in Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you what he said a little later on in the show. And the PGA Tour has announced it's changing the way it handles the Tour Championship down in Atlanta. I'll tell you their new plan. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with the 2025 NBA playoffs because after last night's result in downtown Indianapolis, it does appear we know where we're headed. Final score, Pacers 130, Knicks 121. So Indiana now up 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, just like Oklahoma City is up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Pacers are now minus 590 to advance to the NBA Finals. Thunder minus 7,000 to advance to the NBA Finals. In the history of the NBA playoffs, teams have only come back from down 3-1 13 times. 0 teams have done it in the past 5 postseasons. The last team to do it, it was Denver in 2020. The record right now is 13-283 all time. 13-283 all time in series once teams go down 3-1. So when teams go down 3-1 in the NBA playoffs in history, they are eliminated. If my calculator on my iPhone worked correctly, and I don't know if it did, 95.6% of the time. That translates to night-night. Big Bet Bennett on a scale of 1 to 7. How much are you looking forward to Pacers Thunder? Because that appears it's going to be the NBA Finals we get. Scale of 1 to 7.
I'll go about a 3.
Bennett.
Yeah, I'll go about a 3.
Bennett.
I mean, come on, dude.
You come on, dude.
No one was looking. No one asked for this. No one wanted it. No one was looking forward to it.
Bennett.
They didn't.
Bennett.
I'm not saying. Hey, here's what I'll say. I think it's if that is what we get, which I'm still not ready to write off the Knicks yet. I'm not ready to write off the Knicks yet.
Jalen Brunson's too little. Karl Anthony Towns is banged up.
I disagree.
Jalen Brunson's too little. He's a little big guy. He's a little fella.
I heard that conversation.
He's a little fella.
Yeah,
and he's getting attacked. He's getting hunted.
I'm not ready
by bigger fellas. Bigger fellas are hunting him because he's a little fella.
I'm not ready to write off the Knicks just yet. Timberwolves, Thunder. I'm pretty much ready to call that.
That's a wrap tonight.
I think I'm done.
That's a wrap tonight.
I think I know where that one's
Thunder
going.
up.
Yeah, I'm not ready to.
It's a wrap tonight.
I'm
Thunder
not
up.
ready to give it to the Pacers just yet. But I will say I do think that I'm a notorious OKC hater, and so I do not want to see them win an NBA title this year.
Well, then you better you know what you need to do? Pull your eyeballs out of your head. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to watch Oklahoma City win an NBA title. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to see them do it. The only way to avoid seeing Oklahoma City win the NBA title at this point is for you to remove your eyeballs from your head. Are you willing to do that?
I mean, I think the Pacers have a better chance. I think the Pacers have a better chance of making it a good series than the Knicks probably do.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, because they'll be able to run with them.
They won't be tired.
Yeah,
they're not led by a little fella.
They're deep.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't love the series if that's what we end up getting, but I do think that the Pacers give us the best shot of not allowing the Oklahoma City Thunder to win a title. So I guess I could talk myself into that.
What do you think the best way to remove your eyeballs from your face would be? Because you need to look into that.
Probably a spoon.
Probably a spoon. It would be tough.
Just scoop it right out.
Just scoop it right out. That probably would work.
Yeah.
That probably would work.
Yeah.
I want you to keep your eyeballs.
Thank you.
All right? I want you to keep your eyeballs.
That's one of my only good features.
But you do have good eyes.
Thanks, man.
You were supposed to say you have good eyes.
You have great eyes too.
I do have great eyes.
Yeah.
I have great eyes.
I can't see them. You got glasses on.
Well, they're. I
mean, I can see. There's a glare when I'm looking at you.
Yeah. I have great eyes, and I have great eyelashes. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's all I have. That's good.
That's all I have is great eyes.
I think the only if you could brag about any physical feature you have, where would you go first? Your eyes or somewhere else?
I think eyes.
Eyes?
Yeah. I mean, for just like for surface level appearances. Yeah, eyes.
Let's keep it surface level. Let's keep it surface.
Yeah.
You like your eyes?
Yeah.
I like my eyes.
I like them.
I like my eyelashes. People think I wear mascara.
No, I'm starting to get like one of those things right there.
Yeah, that's called getting old, buddy. Ain't much you can do about that unless you're Kris Jenner.
Little bag right there.
Yeah.
I need to get some of those strips.
Ain't much you can do about that unless you're Kris Jenner. Mm-hmm. Then you can get that thing fixed. But otherwise, you just kind of have to live with it. People think I wear mascara. Not true.
Do they? I think I've heard that. I think I've heard that before.
I get accused of that. like I just wouldn't even have the time to deal with mascara. I'm not against mascara, but I just wouldn't even have the time. But no, I do not. I do not wear mascara. This is just natural. This is what you get.
Well, good.
This is just. I wake up like this.
I'm glad we got good eyes, man.
I wake up like this. Tyrese Halliburton was outrageous last night again.
Yeah.
32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, 0 turns. There had never been a stat line like that in the history of the NBA. And he was presented with that fact last night, and he sort of laughed it off because it was like this really weird bunch of numbers stat. You're the first person ever in NBA history to do this. Did you know that? And he's like, no. Why,
I do not.
why would I know that? Who would know that? Sometimes he said, I think you guys are just making up stats to make me sound great. And I do think often, and this is all over Twitter, like every night, it's like, and so every night somebody does something for the first time ever because we just move these bars around and set these parameters where Tyrese Halliburton is the first person to ever do A, B, C, and D in the last week of May in the Eastern time zone on TNT. Like, we got all these things, and we're like, and there it is. Nobody's ever done this before. It's a little bit of that when you talk about nobody ever done what he did last night, but just 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, 0 turns, a plus 16 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals is outrageous. And I'm not interested in getting into these superstar debates. Like, I think I'm over all those types of debates.
I like this one, though, because he's kind of a fascinating figure in this league.
Okay, so then let's do it. Where do you land on it? Because this morning I hear Jay Williams say, this guy's a superstar, and anybody who can't acknowledge that, don't even talk to me about basketball. And then Alan Hahn was like, he played like a superstar last night, but he is not a superstar. The way Alan defined superstar is if you are playing a game on the road, do other people in that city want to come see you? Do they show up in your jerseys? Do they say, this guy's in town tonight, let's go see this guy tonight? He said that is obviously true for people like Steph Curry. It has forever been true for LeBron James. It has been true at certain times for Kevin Durant, Giannis, perhaps even Jokic. He doesn't think Tyrese Halliburton checks that box yet. Where do you stand?
I mean, I think if he wins a title, he definitely does. And he's like this really polarizing figure in the league. Well, like, you start with, remember he had his ascension when they went to the championship game of the in-season, the inaugural in-season tournament, and it was like, this guy is on the come up. And then
he has to be still relatively young, had a lot of like moments where he is the focus of the NBA on this night.
And but then like the next season, it looked like maybe that was the peak of his power. Like, that was as far as he was going to go in this league. You know, probably be on like a perennial playoff team. The Pacers are usually pretty good. It's a good organization. But maybe nothing more than that. And now this season, he's obviously come roaring back, and he's one of the best players in the league. And then he gets voted as the most overrated player in the league by his peers. And obviously that motivates him, but I just think it's fascinating, like, the discourse around him, because I even saw Devin say, like, I don't think they voted him most overrated player in the league because they don't think he's as good as he really is. I think they might have voted him most overrated player in the league because they think he's
a goofy.
They think he's kind of goofy.
They think he's a goofy.
I think his peers might think he's kind of goofy. He clearly feeds off that.
Sure.
I mean, he did the overrated now or whatever. You saw him tweet after that after they won that last series. So yeah, I mean, I think that a little bit of that comes with being a superstar, is just that whole polarizing figure.
I believe if I set the criteria at Alan Hahn's request, which is this a guy, when he goes to another town, the crowd will be different because he's there. It'll be bigger because he's there. It'll look different because he's there. You'll see his jersey on the road because he's there. I think if I set that as the bar to establish whether Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar or not, I'm not sure he touches that quite yet. I'll put it this way. It's February 13th tonight. Pacers are in town. Are we talking about, and Tyrese Halliburton's in town, and are people like, the Grizzlies are on a homestand now. There's 4 straight home games. The one I really want to go to is the Pacers game because Halliburton's in town. Are we there yet?
I think if they're...
I don't know if we're there yet.
I think if they're the reigning champs, then yes.
Well, they're not going to be the reigning champs because Thunder up.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
So I don't know if he touches that bar quite yet, but he's 25 years old. He is in the Eastern Conference Finals for the second time in his career. Mm-hmm. He is, barring a surprise that is very rare historically, he's about to be in the NBA Finals for the first time in his career. And yes, by extension, once you get there, you're only 4 wins away from a championship. He's doing all of this at the age of 25. This is a franchise that has been to 1 Western Conference Finals ever. Tyrese Halliburton is a human who has been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals by the age of 25. So I don't know if he checks the box of, are 4,000 kids going to show up in Halliburton jerseys no matter where they're playing on any given night. I don't know if we're there yet, but he's doing it. He is not carrying a team, because this is a real basketball team. Rick Carlisle's been amazing. Neesmith wins them 1 game. Siakam wins them another game. Halliburton goes triple-double last night. This is a real basketball team. And he, is not their leading scorer throughout the season. That's Siakam. But he is the star. He is the one driving all of this stuff. And he is in total control of everything out there. And in a time where the Knicks offense is breaking down in the fourth quarter, on one end of the court, Brunson's getting hunted. On the other end of the court, he's not actually taking over the game the way he has done in other points of this postseason and in his career. I think he only had 3 shots in the fourth quarter. In a time where all of this stuff is, he's the one delivering. He's delivering on a massive stage. You talk about NBA superstars. In New York, they'll tell you Jalen Brunson is one, but he's not delivering right now. Across the world, everybody tries to tell you Anthony Edwards is one. But now he's starting to get criticized a little bit. Like, does he need to do more? Is he doing enough? I know he's, quote, playing the right way, but at what point do you play a different way because you're the best player in the world? This is a conversation you'd always hear in football. It's like, well, they're taking away the pass, so we're just going to run it. Well, you have Peyton Manning. Maybe you should throw it regardless. Just because they're taking, maybe you should throw it regardless. The Pacers are doing it.
Yep.
The Pacers are doing it. And Halliburton's delivering. And I don't know if it will be a competitive NBA Finals, because I tweeted maybe last week, it appeared this is where we're headed, and looks fun to me. I don't know if the network executives are going to love it, but it looks like a fun basketball series to me, and I got a little pushback on that. The pushback was like, Oklahoma City's just going to run them off the court. And
I disagree with that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I disagree with that either. I think it will be like Thunder up. Don't get it twisted, Thunder up. But I think it could be a fun basketball series where either Shai Gilgeous-Alexander comes out of it as more of a real candidate to actually be the person we just say, that's the face of the league. Or Tyrese Halliburton holds a trophy at the end of the whole thing, and we have no choice but to say he is a superstar. He's a 25-year-old NBA champion who's doing historically unprecedented things in this postseason. Either story is a fun story.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more games we're going to need to get there. Maybe just 2, 1 on each side, but it does appear that's where we're headed. One last thing, and then I'll bring Vernon in here. Does what is happening in this postseason change your opinion at all on where we believe the Grizzlies are? Because when you collapse in the regular season the way they did, and then get run off the court in the postseason the way they did, and then the general manager holds exit interviews and more or less says, we're not close. Or not more or less says, like literally said, we're not close. I agreed with that sentiment at the time. Does it change at all that the Indiana Pacers are headed to the NBA Finals? Because that's a team that only finished 4th in the East. It's a team that only won 2 more games than the Grizzlies in the regular season. And yet things have opened up for them. They've grabbed it, and they're going somewhere of significance. They're going somewhere this franchise has never been. But in the regular season, at certain points, I think NBA fans and analysts would have you putting together a list of championship contenders into categories. you might have, at certain points, not at the end, but at certain points, you might have had the
I got
Pacers
you.
and the Grizzlies in a similar category.
2 years in a row.
Like in February, you might have said, all right, if we're putting championship contenders in categories, let's start with Oklahoma City, Boston. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's you start there. All right, next category. All right, let's throw Cleveland in there, and we'll throw whatever in there. Okay, next category. Yeah, let's put the Pacers and the Grizzlies in there. Like, I think you would have maybe been similar to them, similar to them not too long ago. And so does what's happening with them right now make you reconsider at all how far the Grizzlies actually are from doing something we can celebrate?
I think it just goes to show that you don't want to overreact to any. Like, we all agree the second half of last season was a disaster and the whole thing fell apart, right? I mean, they still made the playoffs, but they limped into the playoffs, right? We can all acknowledge that. I just think that this team has been good with these three dudes for a long time now at this point. Again, second half of last season excluded. And so I'm one of those people that kind of thinks, working around the edges, bringing in, veteran pieces, bringing in guys that fit with this group of guys that you already have, I just don't think you want to overreact. That's where I stand on the whole thing, because you can get it back. At least it appears like for some of these teams.
I know this. I feel different about everything today, differently than I felt the day after the season was over. Because I was never blow it up. You got to try. None of that.
No.
I think you got to consider everything.
I think you got to consider everything.
But just blow the whole thing up because you got embarrassed by Oklahoma City is like a lot of people would get embarrassed by Oklahoma City, particularly when the point guard goes down, right? So I was never that, but I was like, I don't know if this thing's going to work, if only because it has never worked. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't. It hasn't worked. We've had years of this core, and they've accomplished nothing of significance. It hasn't worked. So to continue to believe in something that never works, like, it'll work this time, I don't know. That's where you maybe start tinkering with things or doing big things. Like, I was open to all that. As I sit here today, I'm still open to everything. Mm-hmm. And everybody should be. At least every conversation. But you watch Indiana go through and do what they're doing right now, and I don't think it's hard to close your eyes and go, what if? Forget the seed, but just what if you got into the playoffs and you were fortunate enough to get to play anybody other than that team, the one seed. And instead of you being banged up, somebody else is, and you're actually healthy. And is it hard to imagine you being in a similar place to where some of these other teams that were thought of similarly to you, is it crazy to think you could end up in a similar place as soon as next postseason? I don't think that's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy.
Like, clearly Oklahoma City you're not in that category. You're just not.
But no one might be.
What we might find out is nobody is.
Yeah.
Nobody is. Maybe full strength, super healthy Celtics could give it a shot. But it doesn't appear, and I'm not ruling out the Pacers thing. Maybe they can give it a shot too. But it might just, what we might be finding out is nobody's really that close to them, although the Denver series did go 7. That nobody's really that close to them. If you start determining how far you are away based on the distance between you and them, it can get distorted a little bit. Maybe don't focus so much on how far you are away from that, and focus on how far are you away from literally everybody else. Everybody other than them. How far are you away from Minnesota? How far are you away from the Pacers? How far are you away from the Knicks? And I think the distance between that, it's a little more comfortable than the distance between the Thunder and the Grizzlies. Thunder up, Chris Vernon in here next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Are you ready?
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
We're inside the Built for Tough studio on this Wednesday, May 28th. Chris Vernon's here with me, and he came in here talking about National Hamburger Day. It's National Hamburger Day. Happy National.
Is it hamburger?
It's National Burger Day. It's National Burger Day.
Okay. CJ just asked me out there. He was asking me what the best burgers were, and I was like,
I like a great burger. Do you,
I do too.
Do you value a great burger?
Yes.
Do you enjoy a great burger?
Yes. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of one of those that I don't have like a go-to place.
I don't know that I have a go-to place,
right.
But the one I used to always reference is the Mr. Good Burger at Roxy's.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It's like a hole in the wall.
Yeah, I don't even know that it's there anymore.
Well, I just told him about it, and Roser said he looked it up, and it said it opens at 3 o'clock on Friday.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good.
Figure that out.
I know that it closed at some point because every once in a while I'll just be sitting around and I'll just be thinking about it.
Why not?
So then I'll Google it and I'll be like, oh yeah, it closed. And I don't know what the status of it is now, but that's a hell of a burger. You'd walk into a place, you go to the back, and you don't even know if you're supposed to be there. It looks like you're not even supposed to be there. And you're like, is this where you get the good burger? And they're like, yeah, one good burger coming up. And then they just hand it to you, and you don't know where to go. I don't know.
It's kind of odd. I don't really have like a go-to, like, all right, hey, I want to go get a cheeseburger. Where should I go? I mean, I don't know. I go everywhere. And
I get them anywhere.
I get them everywhere.
I get them everywhere. I've had them everywhere. And so there wasn't like a place to sit down, I remember. You sort of had to get your burger and get out of here.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting in my car downtown Memphis just eating this big sloppy burger. It was great, though. It was great. There's like all the ones that Five Guys is great. The Wimpy's is great. Just a great burger is a great burger.
Yeah, I like that. I was just telling them that chain at the corner of Poplar and Perkins. I've taken my daughter there a bunch. The
Burger Hop?
the Hop Dottie.
Daddy Hop.
I haven't had Hop Dottie.
Yeah, I like it.
I
like the other one too, Belly Acres. I like them all.
I like them all.
I'm telling you,
you gave me the burger joint, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I said off air, the old taco truck that used to be over by the radio station, but now it's at Park and Mendenhall, Chili Verde. They got the best burger, man. They got the best burger.
I used to
I know
Chili
people
Verde.
swear by Tops too.
Tops is great. Tops makes a great burger.
Burgers. I always get barbecue if I go to Tops.
I'll mix it up. I'll get everything. I'll get barbecue. I'll get a barbecue hamburger. I think
those Mexican food trucks always have amazing burgers.
They deliver.
They really do.
Food trucks are great.
Yes.
God, I'm gonna get a hamburger today, I think. Happy Thunder Up Day to you.
Oh God.
Tonight, Oklahoma City.
Indiana's all I got, huh?
Tonight, yeah, you running out of options.
Indiana's all I got.
You were in a fight. I thought about this. You really just needed anybody other than this. You just needed anybody. You had so many.
You mean than the Thunder? Yeah. I mean than the Pacers?
No, you just needed anybody other than the Thunder.
I'm not done yet.
I know
you're not. Larry O'Brien trophy in the air.
This ain't over.
We ain't done.
You gonna go down fighting still?
We ain't done.
You gonna go down?
Look, I will say this: you had that Pacer. Look, you had that Pacers thing pulled up here. It's pretty unbelievable when you look at it. That Cleveland team, anybody can say whatever the hell they want, right? About injuries. Like, injuries happen in all of these, right? You know, Minnesota got to play a Curryless Warriors too, and like that's the way this stuff goes. That Cleveland team won 64 games and had home court advantage, and they mowed them. Right? They mowed them down, and now they're taking care of business against the Knicks, even though they were dead in the water in their game one. And it's like, I don't know, like I was hearing, you were talking about the whole Tyrese Halliburton and a superstar or whatever, like all the discussions, it's almost like because they are in such a dominating position against the Knicks now, it took till now for us to have all the discussions that have kind of been going, you know what I mean? Like, they've been there in front of us, right? Like, they have been mowing it's not like they have played. They've lost 3 playoff games, bro.
In fairness,
I mean, that is unbelievable. I don't care who you played.
There's a million people talking about this stuff. I like to give credit where credit is due. Brian Windhorst, like, when these playoffs started, he was like, keep an eye on the Pacers. Like, there was a lot of just data points connected to them, like from this point forward, they've been doing this, and and
obviously last night, one of the things I was watching is, there's this stat that's been going around. If they get to 114, they haven't lost, right. So of course I'm watching the game last night, and I'm like, again, then if this thing is hurtling towards 114, and we know, and the whole idea would be because that's where they dwell, right? They want this up-tempo, fast game. And they're and now, after last night, that's 11 wins. They're 11-0 if they've scored 114 points, all right? They are 0-3 if they haven't. Okay, so that's been like the line of demarcation, right? All the games that they have lost. But the crazy thing is, I was talking about that, and then, like, as it's going on last night, and I'm thinking about that number, I'm thinking to myself, well, like, the crazy thing is, yes, the point total that they get to, and this creates this scenario where they are undefeated, but it's the other number. It's the 3.
Right.
That's crazy. Like, they've only lost 3 playoff games so far in this whole deal. And it's like, until they're up 3-1 on the Knicks, we're still kind of all like, eh.
Well, like, I tweeted last week when it looked like we were headed this direction, I guess after the Pacers went up 2-0 in New York. And I was like, I know this isn't what anybody thought we were going to get or what television executives would desire, but it looks like fun basketball to me. And there was a lot of pushback, like, oh no, it won't be Thunder in 5 and it'll be lopsided. And I'm just like, I'm Mr. Thunder Up, or I'm trying to be, but it's not hard for me to imagine the Pacers playing them.
It is just
it's not hard for me to imagine that being a fun series.
Well, the way it could be is because they can play that fast pace at an extremely high level, maybe the highest level in terms of if we're flying.
The Knicks aren't comfortable at that pace.
No. And they get duped into it over and over again, right? Every once in a while, they'll go through these 5-minute spans where the game turns into a half-court basketball game, and then it's right back to flying up and down the court. The other thing is that we know that 20 to 25% of the point total that Oklahoma City gets on average, and that number may even be even higher in the playoffs, is off of turnovers.
And Tyrese does not turn it over.
They don't. The Pacers team. Does, so, right? Like, if you're talking about a fifth of somebody's points coming in this manner, and it's just so happens that you're playing a team that is not sloppy with the ball. And then the other thing is...
Let me stop you there for a second, because how would you respond to this? What if you say the Pacers don't turn it over? but they will against them. Because
They
that's
might.
different. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They
Right.
might. But you play a lot of. They played 100 basketball games so far. And the other thing is, you just saw how breakneck that pace got last night, and Halliburton has none.
Right. That's crazy.
Well, and I was hearing you discuss about the superstar thing. It's like, okay, I got you can judge it any kind of way you want, but I will say this: you look at the rest of his team. And it's like you gotta make a choice here. Are they amazing because they have this guy, and then it augments all of this? Because who else do you have a crazy high opinion of?
Rick Carlisle.
Right.
I mean, Siakam. Yeah,
but
he's the second best player on a championship team.
Well, hold on.
Third best.
Hold on now. Hold on. All right. That was a very well built team, by the way. But Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry.
Game
That's
six
right.
of his
That's right.
life,
That's right.
In that game.
Third best player.
And they also had Marc Gasol, and they also had OG Anunoby. Like that. If you go back and look at that team, the team was loaded.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That Raptors team was loaded, deep too.
Right.
But I will say, and Siakam's probably a couple-time All-Star. I don't know. He might have made just one.
It
I
was
don't know.
interesting
But-
hearing Draymond talk about Siakam post-game, the game where he was great.
Right.
And Draymond was like, Draymond annoys me on some, but I like him when he's talking this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And he's not trying to make points as much as he's just talking basketball because he is a smart basketball player. And he said the thing about Siakam that makes it so difficult is they run nothing for him.
Right.
And you can't really, it's like, we're going to take this away from him. What? They're not even, he's just out there playing, and it's not in the game plan, and he can get you like this.
Well, and I will say, bro, 32, 15, and 12 in a playoff game, like, okay, what does the superstar do then? Right? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I don't care what you want to term him,
Well, that's
but,
right.
that's outrageous.
Well, that's my same thing with SGA is like, people are like, well, is he really one of the best, or is he the best, or is he the face of this? And I'm like, he's averaging 30 and running away with the Western guy.
But the Gilgeous-Alexander conversation is way different, though, than Halliburton. Nobody has Gilgeous-Alexander outside of the top 10 players in the league.
That's right.
Nobody. And it's like, and Ryan Russillo, who I love, Ryan was on Bill's pod, and like when they were talking about the series, he's like, I'm always going to favor the team that's got a top 10 player on it. Meaning Brunson is like kind of in that top. But you go and look at the top 10 players, and it's like in the end, you got to perform. This guy just had 32, 15, and 12.
And a lot of that came.
What do you want?
And a lot of that came with you, like on his nipple.
Right.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable, dude. He is unbelievable. I actually, you know what's crazy? I gave a shout to James Kane this morning, who's an assistant at Dayton with Anthony Grant. He's a guy, I think Ja wanted him to get the Murray job. But I've become friends with James over the years because we met because he was the guy that famously discovered Morant at that basketball camp years ago. The crazy thing is, I reached out to Kane. He's actually at the beach with his kids. But I was like, you need to come on and chop it up with us. Because they had friggin' Halliburton at Iowa State. Like, that Murray State
You ready for this?
crew left and went there.
Yeah, Steve Prohm.
What are the chances?
So
I mean, seriously, what are the chances that you have Morant and then you go get Halliburton?
I want to make sure before I say this.
Because I can't imagine any of them thought Halliburton was going to be this.
like
Ja, they thought he was going to be next level star, right? They knew.
So it's 2019-20 season, I guess. I just remember, I want to say it was in Maui and for Maui Invitational, and it was the Zion year, and maybe Halliburton was there.
Maybe so.
And I just remember having a random conversation with Steve Prohm at one point, and I was like, so how you like your team? Because it wasn't like they brought in all these McDonald's All-Americans. He was going to be relying on some young guys, but they weren't like the 5-star guys. And he was like, I know my recruiting ranking ain't great, but like I like my freshmen. Like I think I got some good ones. And Halliburton was a part of that.
I mean, imagine the same staff got Morant and Halliburton.
Right.
Who were not like, this wasn't like you went and got Boogie Flam.
Right.
Right. Who was a friggin' 5-star McDonald's All-American. Like these guys were overlooked.
It would have been, it would have been November 2018 in Maui, Halliburton's freshman year. and I had not seen them yet. And it's one of those conversations you're not even expecting to have. You're just walking around the resort and you bump into the Iowa State coach. And it's like, how you like your team? You don't know what to say. You're just talking. It's like, I really like my freshmen. I know they're not rated high, but I really like them. And Halliburton was a part of that.
Well, I mean, and I was thinking about this the other day. Obviously, Edwards and Towns, and there's a lot of these guys that have been huge forever. But you look at the other ones, and it's like Brunson, who was obviously drafted in the second round, even though he did nothing wrong at Villanova.
He did everything he could except
right,
grow. He just didn't grow.
Right, and then you've got the Halliburton thing, who he's going up against, who was still a top 10 pick or whatever he was, right outside. Still a lottery pick, right? Even though people missed on him, he was a lottery pick. But then on the other side, I will tell you this. The year I did I was writing, I was doing the whole "these guys will not fail" thing. I called the guys that I knew in Kentucky, and I was like, "Hey, there's a couple of your guys that are up here, whatever, bro." They were hard selling me on Knox that year.
He was the leading scorer on that Kentucky team, not Shea.
Knox was the
Kevin
guy.
Knox.
They're like, watch his game against Oklahoma, watch his game against or whatever.
Who's he play for? I just saw him. He was in the playoffs, wasn't he?
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't love, and they didn't, like, Shea didn't turn up until the SEC tournament that year.
Right.
Like, he was kind of a disappointment until the SEC tournament, and he was the best player on the floor. Right? It's a little Rose-esque. Not that Rose was a disappointment, but it was a different level.
He
once
took
you got
off.
yes. Late in the season, he became a different guy, but they were all in on Knox. They were like, Knox is the guy.
Right.
Warriors. He's with the Warriors.
I think Calipari even would have told you Knox is the guy.
It shows you just don't know,
I know.
sometimes.
It's crazy, right?
You just don't know. Like like nobody should know better than them, and they just didn't know.
Well, and obviously the Clippers didn't know.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, that was one team.
If you knew, you
didn't already.
There's that thing bouncing around where, like, if we get Pacers, Thunder, both those teams got there by trading
Paul George.
Oh, dude, I mean,
they both did Paul George deals to get there.
The sickest team is the Kings, and it's not even close. You traded Halliburton, and then now Fox is going to go play with, like, the next star of the league.
I would submit the Mavericks, Jalen Brunson, and Luka Doncic.
Okay,
you had them both.
That's one. That's like Kings 1B.
The Mavericks had Brunson and Doncic, and just let one walk and traded the other.
That is wild. It's wild to think about the way the way this is all played out, and obviously the Halliburton conversation and that Pacers conversation. It's like, they're not a team that's on national TV a lot, and they don't have stars, and they don't have highlights, and they don't have like all these things. And so it took getting up 3-1 on the Knicks for everybody to have like, hey, hold on, are they awesome?
Are they great? Hold up, they might be great. And
they beat a 64-win Cavs team, and everybody just like was like, yeah, but they got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. No.
The Cavs won 64 games and they mowed them.
The Thunder will be favored over them, assuming we get there. But I am not convinced it will be lopsided. I could easily see that being a competitive series, and I guess I could easily see either team winning it.
Well, the one thing that the Pacers do apply to, the one thing they do apply to,
here you go,
was that I told you that the team that has won has made the conference finals within the last 3 years. And they did that.
You got about.
They did that.
You got about 2 more weeks to hold on to that.
T-Wolves did too.
You got about 2 more weeks of this.
Don't you think Anthony Edwards is going to shoot the ball 45 times tonight?
So,
I want to see it. I can't wait. I don't know. They might get mowed down too.
Because he's now like,
you
turn on the TV.
He cares
and he's hearing all this and seeing all this.
Yes.
He's not that guy. Like, is it fair because what he will tell you is, bro, they're taking away everything with me.
Oh, that's bullcrap. Watch how he was not engaged. He wasn't.
He gets like that.
He wasn't engaged.
Yes.
Right.
He's like, I'm not shooting, and I'm not, because it affected him on the defensive and look at his rebounds. I mean, he wasn't engaged in the game.
Kendrick Perkins said it ain't gonna change till he gets married.
I know people are gonna laugh about that. He said that the face of the league, right? The face of the league needs to be a married guy with kids or whatever. I don't know if that's so, but I don't buy that. But I do think that if you were to splice that apart, I do think that there's a reason guys typically don't win until they're late in their upper 20s. You and I knew each other in our young 20s and upper 20s, and you're an infinitely different person.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff is about caring what other people think about you. You know, the only thing you have when you're young, in many cases, some people get married young, some people have different life experiences. But for many of us, the only thing you've got is yourself, right? And you're so you're self-reliant, and you are your ego, and you're trying to find your way, and you care so deeply what everybody thinks about you, and then you end up having like a girlfriend or fiance or wife or whatever the case may be, and you start caring a little bit less because this person loves me, right? And then you have kids, and then it does change everything. It changes everything. I cannot tell you how many times, you guys probably experience this the same way. When you go home and nobody cares what you do, nobody cares about, like, the idea that I would care about what somebody's saying about me on the internet when there's somebody right in front of me that loves me to death and has no idea this is even going on, and honestly wouldn't care if they did know. It's much different, because the only thing you have to care about is that stuff, unless you have other stuff going on in your life. And as you get older, you have more stuff going on in your life, so you care a lot less about the things that you shouldn't care about anyway.
And also, like, just to expand on all that.
And that's where I'll say, like, that's where the Edward stuff comes in.
I think there's a point in there somewhere he was trying to make that's reasonable, and he just got lost in it.
Yeah, it's just about growing up. Tyrese Haliburton, there's a great article you guys should read. Jared Weiss, my buddy who covered the Celtics for a long time, writes for The Athletic. He wrote this huge article that did not get enough play about 3 weeks ago about Tyrese Haliburton. And the whole thing is about Haliburton's like, bro, like when the whole, like, remember when he was like up there at the top of, I mean, I went to Vegas for that in-season tournament. I mean, he was on billboards everywhere. That was the coming out party. And then he got injured, and then he came back, and then he wasn't as successful. And there is a huge portion of that where he is in the article, and he's talking about social media. And he's like, it absolutely had a profound effect on my career. Absolutely. It hurt me.
Yes.
I'm reading people say terrible things about me all the time.
We are not meant as humans, we're not designed to hear people just tell us every minute of every day that we suck.
Well,
that is what the internet has created.
And Haliburton became consumed with it.
Yeah.
He talks about his mental health and about having to get that right. And, like, it's kind of interesting because he was very at the forefront, and a lot of these guys have kind of made it okay, whether it was Kevin Love originally, DeMar DeRozan has recently talked about it. But the Haliburton article that Jared Weiss did is really, really good, because he talks about, like, you understand that here's a kid that came into the league and everything's going his way and everybody loves him, and then all of a sudden nobody loves him. Like, that's how he feels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not real, but that's how it makes you feel.
No, and he's questioning himself, and his confidence goes to hell, and he's not even playing basketball well anymore. And it's like, and it's all because I'm having this, this wars in my mind all the time. And it's like, I do think there's portion of that where it's like, whatever triggers it, sometimes these guys just reach a breaking point and they stop caring.
Right.
They stop caring what the internet is saying about them.
Right.
And that's when they start to become who they're going to become.
We sort of need it for our careers, like to be on social media and stuff. But I genuinely believe at least I would like to think, if I had a job, a career that didn't require me to be present online, I would try to detach. I think it's healthier. I think it's better for you.
Well, certainly for these players.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, Haliburton might be the best case study in the world.
Right.
Seriously. He might be the best case study in the world. Now, it's not like he's not online anymore. It's not about not being online. It's about understanding what to put value in.
Sure.
That is not a real person that would ever say that to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got like that. You've got to be able to not care.
Circling back to the family stuff, then I'll get you out of here. What I think it can provide, I don't think you need, quote, anything to be great. I mean, like, Michael Jordan, I don't know, had the most stable family life at home, and he's widely regarded as the GOAT. I do think
he also didn't have the distractions.
It sounds
not in the same way.
Not in the same way.
Not in the same way.
Right.
Like he was going out after these games and doing whatever he wanted to do, and there wasn't a photographer.
Yeah.
There wasn't cell phones. There wasn't. I mean,
He
can you imagine
if
him trying to maneuver his life?
There would be
in
so
the world
many
of cell
controversies,
phones?
If Michael Jordan tried to live the life he lived as a player in 2025, he just couldn't. You wouldn't be a.
It's frankly unbelievable now. Honestly, it's unbelievable now to me how these guys are able to maneuver in the world of cell phones. You don't see it.
Every once in a while,
when you see like James Harden at a strip club or something,
Right.
it's a rarity.
Right.
Like somebody messed up to where somebody in there had a phone and took a picture of it or
Right.
something, right? But you don't see this stuff. They are out everywhere all the time
Right.
when they're on the road, and you never see it.
Right.
You might see some guys getting out of a sprinter van or something like that. But you really don't. Like, it's pretty unbelievable how they're able to maneuver.
The point I was making was
obviously our guy notwithstanding.
the point I was trying to make is I don't think you need to have a wife and a kids to be great. But what that stuff does provide is just it ain't all about you anymore.
That's right.
And you're not on your own schedule anymore. Right. I don't live the same life I used to live. A, because I'm older, but B, I'm not interested in it. But C, I don't have time. Like, I got to take kids to school in the morning. You know, I can't hang out with you till 2 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Right.
I got stuff to do tomorrow morning, and I got people expecting me to do things for them, and I've got to take somebody somewhere. And that kind of structure to your life.
There's also somebody there that's telling you it doesn't matter. These guys are surrounded by friends that are sending them bad stuff about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what your friends do. And they're all yes men. They're around him. Oh, this is stupid. But they're all set. They all have it. Did you see what he said about you? Did you see what you said about you? Right? Your wife doesn't care.
I had a friend who is very online, and there would just be random stuff about me. And it'd be like, oh, GP, you okay? And I'd be like, this would be a text message.
Right.
GP, you okay? And I'd be like, yeah, what's up? And he'd be like, just saw this thread on Facebook about something you said or something. And I'm like, and he'd send it to me, and it'd just be the ugliest stuff you ever. And I'm like, why are you putting this in front of me? I don't even know that exists. And I don't want to know it exists. I don't care. But like, what makes you? I always thought that was weird. You're supposed to be my friend. Why are you sending me this stuff? And it wasn't like a joke, the way I might send something to you or you'd send it to me.
I'll tell you this. In my 20s, I had a girlfriend that I was on the computer one night, and I was like mad about, what somebody had said about me on the internet. So this is like message board days. And she was like, why do you care? I felt so stupid.
It makes you feel stupid.
No, I did.
Yeah.
She's like, why do you care? What, Tiger 655 said about you.
Right.
And I'm like, but that's not true. Whatever. Who cares? And I was like, I remember being like humiliated, like almost feeling stupid about caring that this was happening.
Yes. Like, why are you mad right now? Because somebody
so do you even know who that is?
Somebody,
no, I don't know who that is.
Somebody I don't know just said something about me on the internet.
Yes.
Okay.
She was like, that is so stupid. And I was like, no, it's not.
You don't understand.
Yeah. I was mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It hurt my feelings.
No,
She's like, why?
All right.
Now, and then when you try to explain that you did, I do care what some anonymous person. She's like, who cares?
The rule I try to assign to myself is I don't let anybody hurt my feelings unless they live with me.
Yeah.
If you live with me, you have access to my feelings.
That's fair.
Outside of that, I can't give you. Outside of that, I can't give you access to my feelings. Despite everything we said, I just want to be upfront. I am going to tweet mean stuff at you tonight.
I'm a Pacers guy, dude.
I am going to tweet some.
Yes, sirs.
What's the Pacers?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hit you with a thunder up later tonight.
I don't care.
What's the Pacers motto?
Yes, sirs.
Well, I have not heard that before today.
It's on the shirts.
Yes, sir.
They're the yes, sirs.
Yeah, watch the playoffs, dumbass.
Yeah, Bennett, watch the
God, it's been
playoffs.
going on for. He's a phony.
He is sometimes.
There's no way you could have watched the playoffs and not know yes sirs. They're wearing the T-shirts that say yes sir.
I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention to their stupid T-shirts. I hate the T-shirt
you weren't paying
crowds.
attention at all to the series.
Sounds like somebody's been spending too much time with Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a Lilo and Stitch guy.
We're on a Friday night,
for
bro.
sure Lilo and Stitch guy.
We're over here watching.
You went to Lilo and Stitch?
I took my 6-year-old.
Oh my God!
I can't make fun of him for being a good dad.
And
we can't.
It
was
sucks.
good. No, it was good. It was good.
Sucks.
No, it was good.
Come on,
it was good. It was
sucks.
fun.
No, it looked like it
was good.
sucks.
No, it was good.
I think it sucks.
I'm gonna tweet some mean stuff at you tonight.
A lot of Elvis. It was good.
I'm gonna tweet
Elvis.
Yeah, Stitch is a big Elvis fan.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's one of the purchases we got at Target on Memorial Day. An Elvis Stitch.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Awesome.
Would you recommend it?
Oh yeah. It's like the only kids movie in theaters right now.
There's no kid. There hasn't been a kids movie. The last one.
Sinners.
Minecraft was the last one.
Well,
Sinners.
my daughter doesn't care about that. My son went to it.
Yeah.
He went to Minecraft.
Yeah, you can
but
take the fam to Lilo and Stitch for sure. They'll like it too.
I think the last family one I went to was the one I actually liked it. The one that was the imaginary friend one.
Yeah,
it
which
was
is the
good.
last movie I ever saw at the
John
drive-in.
Krasinski
Yeah.
or whatever. Isn't it him? I think it's John Krasinski.
Yeah, it was
Ryan
good.
Reynolds. I liked it.
I liked it too. It was good.
It's about imaginary friends. This guy, this girl creates an entire world of imaginary friends, but they're funny. Mm-hmm. I like that movie.
Good message.
I hadn't been in a long time. I did go to see Sinners. No.
Take your kids.
My son.
Yeah.
He's 15.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I thought
that's
it was
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I kept asking everybody, is it going to be okay? Is it going to be? I mean, come on. He sees a lot worse stuff than that.
That's the other thing. Like, if you by the time we were around 15, you got an iPad in your hands. You've seen it all.
He's seen it.
Right.
we ain't hiding anything from
You
anybody.
don't even want to
No,
know.
and I did. So did your parents? My parents, dude. Like, I had to sneak. So that is part of the reason that, I don't know. I think the parenting is so much different now. They had a parental lock on the TV,
Right.
and you had to go to some other dude's house. You know, your friend that lived down the street. It's always somebody with a stepdad whose stepdad had Playboys. You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of how you, right? Or, bad music, dirty music or
If
something.
my parents had any idea what I was watching on Kazaa Media Desktop.
We didn't
Remember Kazaa?
So we didn't have computers. We were old school. It was print magazine, bro.
We didn't grow up with computers. We had to grab magazines.
Magazines, bro.
You don't know nothing about a magazine.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about
I
a
do.
magazine.
I do know magazines. I had magazines come in the mail.
I thought he was
Rolling
about to-
Stone.
No.
No, not those
We're
magazines.
talking about dirty books.
Yeah.
I had a friend in college. Every time we would go on a road trip, he would walk into these southern gas stations. He'd go, "Y'all got any dirty books?" And the register guy would be like, "What?" He'd be like, "Dirty books, with the girls."
That's awesome.
Y'all got
I'm
any
stealing
dirty
that.
books? Dirty books. I love the guy that I'm talking about. He was he won Mr. Basketball in Tennessee. He did. Played for Boyd Buchanan in Chattanooga. Bopper Coppinger was his name.
Bopper
Funniest
Coppinger.
guy in the
Damn,
world.
shout out.
And we would go on these road trips. He'd say, "Y'all have any dirty books?" I would be laughing so
Would
hard.
William know what you meant if you said
No.
no? Our kid.
A Playboy?
Yeah.
The only time he would know.
I don't think they print
You
those
know how
anymore,
he
do
would
they?
know? Because I sent him so many videos that I'm sure his algorithm is not too far off. If you see, I get it. I shouldn't even say this on the air, but I get it once a week where it's.
Oh, yeah, you can still buy Playboy at the gas station. Yeah.
Everybody's going to get it on their phone now that I'm talking about it. It's the blind guy. And it's like they've got a 70s Playboy. And it says 70s Play. It's one of those try not to laugh videos, right? And so people put the video side by side. And it's a blind guy. And it's they give him a 70s Braille edition of Playboy. And he's sitting there. And he's touching the page, and then he goes, "Damn, dude!"
So
He
stupid.
shows up.
No, I haven't seen that.
So that's how he would know what a Playboy is, because it's the blind guy touching the Braille Playboy, and he goes, "Damn."
And is wild. Like
it's impossible not to laugh at that. It's hilarious.
We reached it's weird that there are like things that when we grew up, there was impossible not to be aware of their existence, and they just aren't. They don't exist to our children.
No.
Like if I remember one time,
like a Walkman.
Well, like seriously, it must have been a long time ago, 15 years ago. It was with Aiden, and we were listening to probably a CD at this point or whatever. Anyway, it's a Corey Brandon album, and there's some line on some song that says "Screaming Bloody Mary" into an answering machine. And I remember Aiden just going, "What is an answering machine?"
Oh, yeah.
Just had never even heard the term answering machine. Like anybody 45 up.
Oh, we still have them. It's just it's just voicemail.
Right. But like the term answering machine was just like non-existent in the world today. But if in 30 years ago you said answering machine, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
Today nobody even knows what they are. It's wild out there. Thunder up. Thunder up. I'm going to tweet mean stuff at you tonight. I don't want you to take it personally. I don't want you to let it impact your emotions.
I'm going to deactivate my account.
You should.
I should
you should. It would just be funny. It would just be funny if you just deactivated your account tonight. Like as soon as the game starts, just deactivate.
Just deactivate.
Because like here's what's funny.
Drive them crazy.
They will be searching for you. They look for you.
Or what would be better is now you could do that thing, because I see people do it every once in a while. You could do that thing where you turn off replies.
Yes.
So I should just tweet out something like salacious and then turn off the replies to just drive them crazy.
Drake went through a thing where he had to do that. He just turned off his replies on everything.
Honestly, because I love Brent Rooker, who I've become friends with, I think to this day, they still don't have their replies on since they moved from Oakland. I'm not kidding. Days.
Because they just get spammed every post.
No, it's all people mad about the moving from Oakland.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think they still have. So, like, it sucks because it'll be like, Brent Rooker, another home run or whatever. And, like, there's no replies. They just turn the replies off.
The internet's wild, man. The internet's a wild place. All right, get over to your big studio. Deactivate your account. Thunder up. Thunder up tonight. Thunder up tonight. I'm going to tweet. It's at Chris Vernon Show if you want to tweet mean things at him tonight. He says that he is matured enough to not be bothered, but we're going to put it to a test tonight. He says he's matured so much that he's unbothered by strangers tweeting mean things at him on the internet. But we're going to put that to a test tonight. Thunder up. We're going to put it to a test tonight. Thunder up. When we come back, the University of Memphis has secured a commitment.
Okay.
From a South Dakota State jackrabbit. His name's William Wharton. I'll tell you more about him next.
Yesterday was the talk of the town. It was a cow on the side of the road.
Do you live close to a movie theater? I'm just curious because maybe the cow was trying to go to the movies.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies at home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
With a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The University of Memphis has secured another commitment from a men's basketball player. His name is William Wharton. He played at South Dakota State last season and averaged 3 points, 3 rebounds in 9.3 minutes per contest. Bennett, you excited? William Wharton era has arrived in Memphis.
I mean, I'm excited to fill out the roster and get this thing going, get some practices underway. I believe that they're about to start up their like summer sessions here pretty soon. So that's good that we got a squad together and ready to go. As far as this edition, we'll see, but I'm not sure how big of a contributor he's going to be on day one.
Yeah, let me, I guess I'd put it this way.
Yeah.
If you ever catch us, you and I, talking about William Wharton again after today.
Then things went bad.
Things have gone wrong.
Okay, because yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you still got to have a bench.
You got to have a bench.
You got to have a bench,
Unless
dude.
you're the Knicks.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless you're the Knicks. You're the Knicks, you don't have to have a bench.
That's right.
Or if you're J.J. Redick in the second half, you don't need a bench. You just play all your starters. But most basketball teams need a bench.
Yes.
And that's what this is. It's just a front court depth piece. I don't have anything intelligent to say about it. It's just sort of noticeable on some level, I think, when on a Monday you lose an All-American and on Tuesday you add a jackrabbit who just averaged 3 points per game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get that. And I saw your video, and I know we talked about it yesterday about PJ's, how it's not great. It's obviously not great for the University of Memphis that he's gone. And I agree with that.
It's just as I tried to say yesterday, I don't think it's just one thing, but it does become clear he did not want to be at the University of Memphis anymore. That's obvious.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or at least at a moment when
there was a moment when he didn't.
There's a moment where he didn't.
Yeah.
He might have had second thoughts and regrets and all sorts of things. But there was a moment where, after having an All-American season at Memphis, he had reached a point where he did not want to be at Memphis anymore. And that is concerning. We can debate and discuss why exactly he didn't want to be at Memphis anymore. But you will always land at the same spot, which is he didn't want to be at Memphis anymore. Memphis had lots of money on the table, and all he had to do was say, this is where I want to be. And he chose not to do that. And whether that should be big picture concerning for the athletic department or not, I guess is debatable. I would be concerned about it, if only because it is something that had never happened before.
Yeah.
Memphis had never lost a consensus All-American to transfer. It had never happened before, and it happened this week. And so you go into next season, clearly with a less talented roster than you otherwise would have if you had P.J. Haggerty. And we got plenty of time to talk about that. But the roster is sort of it is what it is at this point.
Yeah,
like we still got to find out, is it going to include Dane Danger or not?
I think that's big.
Well, of course, it's probably their best player. It's like it's like asking, are you going to have your best player or not?
Right.
So we still got to figure that out. But the roster is kind of set, and I'm just telling you, with or without Dane Danger, it will start outside of the top 25. And with or without Dane Danger, it will, at best, be considered an automatic qualifier out of the AAC. But there are computer numbers right now at barttorvik.com that suggest Memphis wouldn't even be the favorite in the AAC. Now, let me be clear. I think, unless I change my mind, I'm just going to pick Memphis to win the AAC because, my God, it'd be too depressing not to. But if you start looking for a Joe Lunardi bracket in the offseason and he were to assign automatic bids based on barttorvik.com's preseason rankings, not to suggest that he would, but if he did, just say, I'm going to seed I'm going to put in the at-larges the way I think they'll be based on my own opinions. And then when it comes to the one-bid leagues, I'm just going to say whoever Bart Torvik thinks is going to win the league, I'll just put them as the automatic qualifier. Then you will start seeing brackets that will have the AAC as a one-bid league. And according to Bart Torvik, the one bid would not go to Memphis.
Who would it go to?
South Florida right now. South Florida is 61st at Bart Torvik right now, and Memphis is 71st.
Okay.
So right now, based on that one computer ranking, Memphis would not even be projected to win the AAC. I don't know that that's right. I just know that what I just told you is true. And so you head into next season, as is the case with any basketball team, you never know. But on paper, you shouldn't be as good. You won't have as great a player as the one you just had. And you're kind of doing a similar schedule type thing. So what does it look like in the building when you don't have a number next to your name? Probably. When you're not as good as you were? Probably. And when you're still playing the AAC schedule that brings in nothing of interest, like literally nothing of interest. Based on barttorvik.com right now, Memphis will play 0 top 60 teams once the conference schedule begins.
Starts.
What's that going to look like? These are the big picture concerns because I think they can all get connected. Like a little bit of a chicken and egg thing. PJ Haggerty leaves because and I'm not saying this is exactly why. I've already established I don't think it's just one thing. But you are in a bad league and PJ Haggerty just left it. Did he leave because you're in a bad league, or can you not and then you can't draw fans because you're in a bad league, but you're in a bad league because you can't draw fans? It's just a big circle of not great stuff. And I don't know how you get out of this circle without a conference change. Because this is a point I made yesterday, I know on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, perhaps here as well. I talk a lot. I don't know what I say every time. We have never thought about Memphis as in a way that attaches it to its league. We just never have. Memphis was in Conference USA when it was a mid-major league. But it was still Memphis. It just didn't, you could still go get Will Barton, and you could still go get Derrick Rose, and you could still go get, you name it.
This is very similar to Gonzaga and the WCC.
Very similar to Gonzaga and the WCC.
You're just a tier above everybody else, how you operate.
How you operate. Maybe not in wins and losses every year, but in how you operate, it's just different than everybody else in your league. And so here comes the transfer portal, here comes transfer waivers, here comes NIL. And this is the point. For years, we've always just thought of Memphis basketball as something different. Yeah, it's in the AAC, but it's not like the other AAC schools. It's in CUSA, but it's not like the other CUSA schools. When Yaxel Lindenborg announced he was entering the transfer portal and subsequently committed to Michigan, did anybody in the country even blink?
No.
No. Because when there's a great player in the AAC, you know what we expect?
They're going to go to a bigger school if they stay in college.
Yes. Somebody wins the Summit League Player of the Year. We expect them to go to a high major level ASAP. Somebody wins the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. We don't expect them to stay at that school. Have we reached a point where it's unreasonable to expect Memphis just can operate above and beyond its league? Because if somebody leaves UAB, we go, well, of course. He was great at UAB, and he got an opportunity to go play in the Big Ten. Why wouldn't he do that? Have we reached the point where instead of going, what is P.J. Haggerty doing, should we really be going, well, this is the way it works. You're an AAC school, and you don't get to keep your All-Americans if the Big 12 wants them.
I think holler at me if it happens again.
That's fair. And I want to be clear. I don't even know what the correct answer is to that question. But that is a question worth
for sure
discussing right now.
You said, this is something with PJ that has never happened to the University of Memphis before.
Never.
Right.
Never. They never lost a consensus All-American transfer. Every consensus All-American they had before PJ Haggerty either entered the NBA draft or stayed at Memphis until the eligibility was exhausted. No exceptions to that until PJ Haggerty came along. And if I were running the athletic department, I would really want to look at this and go, have we reached a point as a basketball program
where this can happen again,
where we are viewed more like an AAC program than like what Memphis basketball used to be? Derrick Rose used to look at Memphis basketball and say, that's where I'm going. Chris Douglas-Roberts would do the same thing. Darius Washington, high-level people. And I know it wasn't, but like, have we reached a point we haven't been in a long time, or perhaps ever, which is where people don't look at Memphis basketball as something independent to its conference. Is Memphis basketball now been dragged down by a conference to the point where if you're an All-American there, even if they have money to pay you, you're still like, I just don't want to be here under these circumstances, playing in front of small crowds and on ESPN2 just against teams nobody cares about and teams that aren't good. Like, this isn't the college. When Yaxel does it, nobody thinks. Everybody goes, of course. When any other AAC program loses a key player to a power conference, we don't even ask why. We just go, of course. Is Memphis at risk of getting closer to that than it's ever been? I don't know.
I think we're going to find out.
But it's it's a reasonable question to ask based on how things have unfolded.
Number 2.
The top 25 and 1 has been updated. I told you yesterday I was thinking about moving Houston out of the number 1 spot. And when I left here, I continued thinking about it, and I ultimately did do it. Simply put, when you lose Pop Isaacs off of a projected roster and don't replace him with a similar player, like, that matters. It might matter less to Kelvin Sampson than it would matter to anybody else. But among the reasons I had Houston number 1 in the top 25 and 1 previously is because they were going to have a backcourt of 3 experienced, proven, high major guards. Not guys we wonder if they can be great. They have been excellent at the high major level. That would be, as of yesterday morning, Milos Uzan, Emmanuel Sharp, and Pop Isaacs. But Pop Isaacs announced a decommitment from Houston, a commitment to Texas A&M. That's a big NIL deal. And so Houston no longer has, like, based on the current roster, Houston cannot start 3 guards who are all experienced and proven at the high major level. That doesn't exist on the roster anymore. So I dropped Houston down 1 and moved St. John's up to number 1, meaning the top 2 is now St. John's number 1, Houston number 2. And I recognize that the Red Storm don't blame back a lot. Zuby Ejiofor is really the only key player back. But Patino, as he promised, killed it in the transfer portal. And that was like some secret sauce. It's just like lots of money. They just threw lots of money around. And they've got the best transfer class in the country.
Wow. St. John's.
The best transfer class in the country, which by extension makes it the best recruiting class in the country.
Yeah.
Recruiting classes, we used to talk about them, they would just be
the
like,
high school guys.
Yeah, but that's not really what it is anymore.
Right.
Your recruiting class is not going to be headlined by high school players too often anymore. Sometimes, if you're Duke, perhaps. But more often than not, it's going to be headlined by the most impactful players you bring in are going to be transfers. And St. John's brought in more of those than anybody, or at least more great ones than anybody. So it's Rick Pitino, one of the greatest coaches of all time, coming off of an outright Big East championship with what I believe will be the most talented roster in the country. That's a pretty good combination. I'll ride with St. John's.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3.
Now to the good stuff.
What's going on?
WREG.com.
What are they up to?
Man, this is the craziest website.
I know. How do they do it? Unlike, I mean, they're privy to the same information as, these other local outlets. How are they doing it at a different level?
I don't know, but they're doing it.
Because the headlines are wild.
I wouldn't mind talking to the person in charge of WREG.com.
How do you do it?
How do you do what you do?
Right.
Because, I mean, every day, it is the craziest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's not healthy to read WREG.com. I should tell you that. If you did nothing every day but wake up and click on WREG.com, you would be scared to go outside. Okay?
Yeah.
You would think it is impossible to even be outside if all you did was read WREG.com.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you there is nothing bad that's ever happened in our city that WREG.com doesn't tell you about immediately. Mm-hmm. They love to tell you about how bad everything. They're on it, buddy. All right. I'm going to read you a story.
Okay.
But first, I think we need to make a couple things clear. The first thing we need to make clear. Domestic violence is not funny. There's no laughing matter.
Okay. I agree.
Say it for your camera.
Agreed.
Say domestic violence is nothing.
Domestic violence is nothing to laugh about.
It's nothing to laugh about.
Mm-mm.
All right? So that's been established. Now I'm going to read you the story.
Mm-hmm.
A man is charged with abusing a vulnerable adult after police say he attacked his girlfriend, who is a double amputee, and he tried to destroy her wheelchair.
Oh, come on.
His name's DeVito Polk. And he's also facing a charge of a domestic assault following the incident that occurred last Wednesday here in North Memphis. The victim said, it just gets wilder and wilder.
Uh-huh.
The victim said Polk accused her of cheating on him.
Okay.
And hit her in the face while she was lying on the couch. She said he also grabbed her by the throat and kicked her in the chest.
Jeez.
A lot going on here.
Yeah, dude. Bad. DeVito sounds like a bad dude.
At the very least, it sounds like he had a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I don't want to judge a whole man based on what might be the worst day of his life, but this was not a good day.
No.
He allegedly beat up a double amputee because he thought the double amputee was cheating on him. What do you think about that?
A lot. I mean,
how you think
I'm just trying to run through this and how that all went down.
Well, let's picture. What do you think a double amputee look? Is that like what is a double amputee?
I'd assume they're missing both their legs if they're in a wheelchair.
What is
a double
amputee? Let's learn together, just so we can just so we know exactly what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What is a double amputee? Let's see what has had both of their arms or leg removed by surgical amputation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is? Or legs or arms?
I would assume legs because the wheelchair. He
That's
just
a good,
had to destroy the wheelchair. Yeah.
Context clues.
Yeah. He tried to destroy the wheelchair, which, I mean, that should be an offense up in itself.
Wheelchair destruction?
Yeah.
I think
like you put that on the list of charges.
You can't destroy a person's wheelchair. That's awful. That's awful.
That's like as low as it gets.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Double amputee. So we're assuming she has no legs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you get to a point where you accuse your double amputee girlfriend of cheating on you? What do you think's going on there? You think it's a love triangle?
I mean, aren't you like there? I don't know how he gets to that.
It's tough.
I don't know how it gets to that.
It's tough.
I don't know how it gets to that. Yeah.
It's a tough situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the winners are here, but
clearly not him.
But every once in a while, just if you because this happens to me. I guess it's I'm a human. I have emotions. Sometimes I feel good, and sometimes I don't feel as good. But whatever going on in life that makes you feel not so good, like this is not your story. You're not a character in that story. There's no good characters in the story.
No.
There's only 3 characters that we know of. One is a man who allegedly beat up a double amputee.
That's the worst character.
I think so. The other character would be the double amputee who just had her wheelchair broken. That's not ideal. And the other character would be a home wrecker who's having an affair with the double amputee. Who you want to be?
Probably the home wrecker if I had to choose.
Because you can remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah, I'd be the home wrecker. I think.
You can just get in and get out of there.
I don't want to be a home wrecker.
No,
but
nobody ever plans to.
Situation.
Nobody ever plans to be a home wrecker, Bennett.
Yeah, I think I'd pick that in that situation.
But I think because you could just sort of remove yourself from the situation and be like, man, there's a wild story back in May 2025 I could tell you about. I think you're right. I don't think I'd want to be any of these people, and I'm very appreciative of them not any of these people. But I think if I had to pick one character to be, it'd be the home wrecker. Certainly not DeVito.
God, DeVito looks crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to judge a man by the way he looks. I wouldn't want people to do that to me, Bennett. But, whew, what a story, huh?
Yeah, that's a wild one.
I hope everybody.
That's a wild one.
I hope it works out.
I hope so too. Good luck to everyone involved.
Good luck to everybody except DeVito.
No,
I'm not going to wish him luck. Let's if he is
guilty,
if he is indeed guilty of as he's accused, then there's a price to pay for that.
Agreed.
Number 4.
Terry Bradshaw hates Aaron Rodgers. Do you see these quotes?
Yeah, he's angry about this, even though Aaron Rodgers isn't the quarterback for any team right now. it's kind of weird what's going on with this.
Well, it's so funny. This is
people are killing him, and he's not even with a team.
You know what's so funny about this? This is a national headline today. And you start reading the story, and you're like, what's Terry Bradshaw? It's like May. Like, what are you doing just yelling about Aaron Rodgers in May? He was on 103.7 The Buzz in Arkansas. He just went on. I know
103.7 The Buzz.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be disrespectful to 103.7 The Buzz.
I'm familiar with 103.7
I'm just saying,
The Buzz.
You wake up. I know how this stuff works. Terry Bradshaw probably got a text message from somebody being like, hey, can you go on radio in Arkansas? He's like, sure, I guess so. Next thing you know, he's created national headlines on 103.7.
Yeah, that's Little Rock.
Okay.
That's Little Rock.
So Terry Bradshaw just jumped on radio in Little Rock, blasted Aaron Rodgers. He said it's a joke.
Yeah, that's a good get for Little Rock Station. That's good.
That is a good get.
It's a big get.
He said it's a joke, the Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers. That, to me, is just a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere, and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there. He told Aaron Rodgers to go chew on bark.
Okay, well, that actually sounds cool, Terry. So
you ever chewed bark?
No, I don't even know what that means. Like tree bark?
I think bark. Yeah, tree bark.
Okay.
I would chew on tree bark, I guess.
Listen, I've been critical of Aaron Rodgers. You've been critical of Aaron Rodgers on this show. Why? I don't understand why he's so passionate about this. I mean, your quarterback's going to be Mason Rudolph, Terry. Like, you cool with that? You good with that this season?
I think what Terry Bradshaw would tell you is that you should have done a better job building around Kenny Pickett.
Oh, okay.
Bradshaw seems to be a Kenny Pickett guy.
Kenny Pickett, isn't he like the third string quarterback for the Eagles right now or something? I mean, come on, dude. What are we talking about?
I'm telling you, I'm not defending the position.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that's what Terry Bradshaw would tell you.
I think
he's a Kenny Pickett guy.
I think Terry's a little off here. I think what I'm learning is Terry's not a fan of Aaron Rodgers and maybe some of the things Aaron Rodgers says, and so that's why he is against this. But if it just comes down to like, do you want your football team to be competitive next year at all? I don't understand the stance.
It would be tied to this.
Because who else is going to be your quarterback?
Oh, I think so. You're not this angry about your franchise possibly signing old quarterback when your alternative options aren't good. You don't get this angry unless it is like he just doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. There's some of that in there, right? It appears he has strong opinions about Aaron Rodgers the way a lot of people have strong opinions about Aaron Rodgers, and that's where the quotes come from.
Yeah.
But I do think this is interesting. This is what's most interesting about this story to me. Not that Terry Bradshaw's popping off, because who cares? We went through this a couple years ago where it's like, where's Aaron Rodgers going to play? And it was a big deal. And every franchise that was considered an option was like, could it be us?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody was really excited about the idea of Aaron Rodgers. Like, if that guy could be our quarterback, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
How great would that be? And here we are 2 years later, and one of the biggest stars from the franchise that most people believe you're going to play for is like, this is a joke. We should not be doing this. And some of it is personality driven. I think there's a lot of people who have strong opinions about Aaron Rodgers because they just don't like stuff that he says on Pat McAfee's show, right? But some of it is also, this guy is 41 years old and he hasn't done anything significant on a football field in years. Multiple years. Dating back to maybe his next to last year in Green Bay. So what are we doing? I understand that.
I guess I can understand that.
If we're going to be mediocre, let's be mediocre, taking shots at young quarterbacks, not this.
That's fair. That's fair. If I was a Steelers fan, I would be wanting Aaron Rodgers.
If you were a Steelers fan, you would want Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because I know Mike Tomlin's a great coach. They've got a decent roster. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to be competitive at all this year,
it might just come down to,
we've seen Mike Tomlin work magic before. He's gotten in the playoffs with some not great teams.
Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Magic Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I guess if you're the Steelers, the way you rationalize all this is you just say, all right, we don't love everything he says on TV either. We get you. But at the end of the day, we got to try to win football games. And no, Aaron Rodgers isn't perfect. And yes, Aaron Rodgers might be disappointing. But at this point, trust us, we've evaluated everybody else we got. And we are hopeful Aaron Rodgers will be great. But more than that, we just believe he's our best option at this point. He's just the best option we have at this point. And so that's why we're going to do this, regardless of what Terry Bradshaw says. Shouts to 103.7 The Buzz.
That's a good get.
That's a good get for them.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Number 5.
The PGA Tour has announced that it is eliminating the controversial starting strokes for the Tour Championship down in Atlanta that ends the season every season. Does this even make any sense to you? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Please
okay.
Fill me in.
So you know that the playoffs start here in Memphis, right?
That's right.
We have playoffs in Memphis.
August, right?
Yeah, whenever it is. So we have the tournament here in Memphis, and it's part of the playoff to go grab the FedEx Cup. But it all culminates with the Tour Championship down in Atlanta. And in a way to give advantages to the players who have been playing well, the Tour Championship would always start in a way that no other golf tournament in the world starts. Take a golf tournament starting tomorrow, wherever they're playing this week. Everybody will be even par. They put the tee in the ground. Now let's go play 4 rounds, and whoever has the lowest score at the end of it, that is your winner. Tour Championship, for instance, last season, because they try to weight it to, hey, you've played really well, you deserve an advantage if we're going to call you the champion of the whole thing heading into the final thing. So Scottie Scheffler, you're 10 under par to start the tournament. Now on the number 1 tee, Scottie Scheffler to start the tournament, he's 10 under par. Collin Morikawa started last year's tournament at 4 under par and then finished only 4 shots in the actual tournament behind Scottie Scheffler, which means at the Tour Championship, Collin Morikawa over 4 rounds shot a better score than Scottie Scheffler. And in every other golf tournament in the world, or at least most of them that I know, that's the way you win. You shoot the best scores over the course of the tournament. But because they started at different places, Scottie Scheffler doesn't outplay Collin Morikawa in Atlanta, but still holds the trophy at the end. And people were like, what are we doing? It was just confusing. Even the way I explained it might be confusing. So it was just confusing, and also it felt like it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Okay.
So they've decided it does not matter how you get to the Tour Championship. Once you're there, whether you're the first person to qualify for it or the last person to qualify for it, once you're there, when we tee it up on Thursday, everybody is at even par. It's just a golf tournament, and the winner will be considered the Tour champion, regardless of whether they won another tournament all year. If they got to the Tour Championship, they will start at even par like everybody else, and if they win it, they will be the Tour champion. Now, I don't know that that's perfect, but it's not unlike what we do with other sports. Think about this. If you try to apply the logic to, say, the NBA. Imagine if we get to the NBA Finals and it's going to be Pacers and Thunder. And the way the NBA Finals worked is that because the Thunder have been so much better than the Pacers all year long, in a best-of-7 series, they get to start up 2-0. The Thunder just get to start up 2-0 because of how much better that they've been to the Pacers all season long. So now here we are, NBA Finals. This is the last thing of the year, and the Thunder get to start 2-0 over the Pacers based on all the stuff that happened previously. Like, nobody would like that.
No.
Well, that's essentially what golf was doing. They were saying Scottie Scheffler's been.
Know this.
They were saying Scottie Scheffler's been so much better than everybody else heading into this last tournament that he gets to start ahead of everybody in the last tournament. If you want to make it more apples to apples, it's the Super Bowl. All right, it's the Super Bowl, one game. It's AFC champ, NFC champ, and because the NFC champ has been so much better than the AFC champ all year, the game will start not at 0-0, but it's 6-0 Eagles. It's the Eagles and the Chiefs, and the Eagles have been better than the Chiefs all year. So we're going to start the game 6-0 Eagles. People would be like, what? That's what they were doing with the PGA Tour. So now that's over. One suggestion that they at least considered but didn't do, and I think this is a mistake. This is what I would do. They thought about making it a bracket. By the time you get to the Tour Championship, it's a bracket, and guys are just playing heads up. So in theory, rather than what we'll do this year is just turn on a golf tournament on a Sunday the way we've done it our whole lives and just watch it, and whoever has the lowest score at the end of it will be the Tour champion. In theory, you could have had today it's Sunday, Tour Championship, title match. It's Scottie Scheffler against Roy McIlroy. Let's go. They're playing heads up, 18 holes against each other. Let's go. That would be more compelling than just another golf tournament that looks like every other golf tournament. If you're trying to make this thing mean something more, make it different in a way that makes it feel like it's something different than what we've been watching the rest of the year. But they got smarter people than me working on this stuff, so they're going to do it this way. Tour Championship, everybody starts at even par.
I like that.
Missed opportunity not to go head-to-head, but if this doesn't work, maybe we'll get there eventually. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the NBA playoffs because both the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals are now sitting at 3-1. And if you know even a little bit about the NBA's playoffs, historically, once you go down 3-1, you do not bounce back from that. Only 13 teams have ever done it. No team has done it since 2020. The Denver Nuggets, I think, did it twice in that postseason. But no team's done it since 2020. The all-time record of NBA playoff teams, once they're down 3-1, all-time record in terms of do they win the series or not? 13-283. 13-283. So what history tells us is once you are up 3-1 in an NBA playoff season, historically you have a 95.6% chance of advancing out of that series. Bennett, if I told you there's a 95.6% chance of rain today, would you think it's going to rain?
I would, yes.
If I told you there's a 95.6% chance your flight's going to be canceled, would you assume your flight's going to be canceled?
I think so.
So I'm telling you right now, history tells us there's a 95% chance that we're going to get Pacers and Thunder in the NBA Finals. And so I guess we can keep watching. I know I will. But it does make it feel a little less whatever. And you just look back at the way the Knicks just gave that, like...
Oh, dude, we sat in here the next day, and I said, I think this series could be over because of this game.
If they don't give that one away, Halliburton, the whole deal.
It's just hard to come back from that, man.
It's 2-2 right now, though. Do you realize that? The series is 2-2, headed back to the Garden.
Oh, I know.
You don't give that one away, and the whole thing feels different.
Mm-hmm.
You're 2-2, headed back to the Garden. There's Timothy Chalamet and Ben Stiller. It's just a best-of-3 series. You've got home court advantage. You've still got the clutch player of the year. Let's go. The whole thing's different. You don't give away that game.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, you never know. Then maybe game 2 plays out differently. Game 3 plays,
sure.
But, you don't give that one away. Then you win game 3. Now you're tied 2-2, headed back home. As it is, history tells us there's a 95.6% chance that you will not get out of this series. The margins are thin, Bennett.
Yes, they are.
The margins are thin. The margins are thin. So, I don't know. I'll turn on the TV tonight, and I'll turn it on again when we're back at the Garden. But the most fun thing for me about any playoff series in any sport is if there's a level of uncertainty to where it's headed. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, or I don't know where this series is heading. I'm intrigued by it. I want to watch it unfold. The problem for me with the way my mind works is you tell me there's a 95.6% chance this is headed a certain direction. I'm like, all right, well, just wake me up when we get there then.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next thing now. I was having fun with this as long as it still seemed like it was up in the air. But now I'm ready for the next thing. And the next thing, it appears, barring a big surprise, is going to be Pacers Thunder in the 2025 NBA Finals.
What's today's biggest game?
Well, you know I'm taking you.
Okay.
To Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Tonight's the night.
What the hell's Paycom?
Your mom.
I don't think we've ever really established their arena.
We have definitely established it. I want to say it's like
I'm gonna say
it's a software company,
like a communication system.
It's a Paycom. Paycom's award-winning software simplifies business payroll. They handle payroll.
Oh, okay.
They handle payroll. They're a payroll company.
It actually does make a little sense. You know what? I'll put them on the list of arena names that make sense.
Why? Tell me how it makes sense.
Well, because like you handle payroll, it's called Paycom. Like it's not that, you know. We should know that.
I didn't know that.
Like Denver Ball Arena, that's so confusing because it's like, okay, it's called Ball Arena and yeah, they play basketball there, but it has nothing to do with balls. It's like something, it's like a jar.
It's a jar.
Yeah, they do jars.
I have a jar in my home. I noticed it.
It says ball on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It says ball on it. I noticed
That's too confusing.
I got real excited. I nicknamed it my little Jokic jar.
Like on the other side, Minnesota, they play at Target Center. Well, everybody knows what that is.
That's perfect.
Grizzlies, FedEx Forum,
Perfect.
everyone knows that.
You know what? I think you're right, Bennett. I'm sorry for pushing back on it. I think you're right because I'm learning about Paycom right now.
We'll allow Paycom.
I think we're going to allow it. You know why? It's a software company based in Oklahoma City. That's their thing.
That's their thing.
That's their little FedEx.
Yeah.
We have FedEx and they have Paycom.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not against it.
I'm not against
Tonight's
it at all.
the night the Thunder punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. Bennett, I'm going to let you pick this however you want to pick it. But before you pick it, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Okay?
Go ahead.
Once I'm done, you are free to pick this however you want. I should tell you, your updated record is now 228, 205, and 4 after last night's victory. You are even. Isn't that crazy? After
all this.
After 437 wagers into that microphone, 437 wagers, you are dead even in terms of profit. You're dead. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I didn't know if you would ever get back here. I was unsure if you would ever get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners and watchers of the show have even suggested to me, both privately and publicly, that I should just reset you at some point to like give you a fresh
Let me
start.
get back into it.
Because the hole you had dug for yourself
was so bad.
It was so bad.
Think
And
about where we were like half a year ago.
I don't even want to think about where we were a half a year ago. Although when I do look back on those times, it makes me better appreciate where we're at right now. I don't know that I'd be able to appreciate where we're at right now if we didn't go through what we went through with you missing pick after pick after pick.
You're
after
right.
pick after
Right.
pick. But we're in a good place right now. You're even. And so you have an opportunity tonight to pick a game, win it, and be in the plus for the first time in literally years. This is a big night for you. It's a big night for the Thunder. It's a big night for you too. Now, I'm about to tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's a 7:30 tip on ESPN.
Yep.
The Thunder are 8.5-point favorites. The total's 220.5. The Thunder are going to beat their brains in tonight. This is not going to be close. They are going to destroy them tonight. This is going to be another lopsided double-digit victory for the best team in basketball. Thunder up. This will not be close. I'm not saying that it won't be close in the first quarter or the second or the third or the fourth. I'm just telling you that when it's over and 48 minutes of basketball have been played, the Thunder will have embarrassed the Timberwolves inside the Paycom Center. That is how this is going to go down tonight. They are not going back to Minneapolis. We will not see a Game 6. We will not see a Game 7. The Western Conference Finals ends tonight with a blowout on ESPN. How do you want to pick this?
So, the last game was only a 2-point game. The last game was only a 2-point game. You know, I could look at this in a couple different. You know, I
just told
I
you
could
how to look
rely
at
on. I know. Now it's my turn.
I just told you how to look at it.
I could rely on my old friend Mike Conley. He didn't have a good game in the last game.
He's my age.
The problem is when I look at these first two games in Oklahoma City, they weren't close. We're back in Oklahoma City tonight. We're at Paycom. 8.5's a big number. I mean, it is the NBA playoffs. Season on the line. You're done. You're going. You're out of here if you lose. If you're the Timberwolves. It feels like I should look at it that way and go Timberwolves plus 8.5. It feels like it. But I think I'm going to agree with you here. This is gonna get tight. This is gonna get tighter than you think. This is gonna get tighter than you think, and I'm gonna be sweating it. I know I'm gonna be sweating it.
The Timberwolves have lost their heart. They've lost their heart. Their heart's been ripped out. When this started,
feel like they're gonna get blasted.
When this started, they believed in themselves. All right, they believed in themselves, but their heart has been ripped out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has removed Minnesota's heart.
I want this to be a competitive game because I'm going to sit down and watch it tonight.
Not going to be.
My brain is telling me that it's probably going to be a destruction. I'm going Thunder. I'm going Thunder. I won't say it. I won't say those words
Thunder
that you've been
up.
trying to get me to say.
Hashtag
no,
Thunder
I won't
up.
say it. Now, if we get over even tomorrow, then, maybe I'll say it. Maybe I'll think about saying it. Probably won't. But I might think about it.
Thunder up.
We're going to go Thunder here.
All right.
We're going to go Thunder
Okay,
here.
Ben, I'm proud of you.
We're going to go Thunder
You're
here.
learning, finally.
What are we watching on TV?
It's the season finale of Everybody's Live with John Mulaney tonight on Netflix. Have you even turned one of these on even once? They're fun.
I've seen the clips, but no, I haven't watched like a full episode.
I enjoy them.
Okay, I need to check it out.
Like, I like him. I find him funny.
Yeah.
I find him funny.
Like, we're about to be at a point where we don't have NBA games on every night, so I might have a lot to dive into, yeah.
Yeah, this one could be so lopsided by the time it comes on that you're just like, I guess I got nothing else to do. I'll turn on John Mulaney. It's he just brings on people. They pick a theme. Like tonight's theme, I believe, is what are teenagers thinking about? Last week's theme was, is Uber any good? It's just stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then they just brings on other funny people, and they just sit around and be funny and talk about it. That's the whole. That's not the whole show, but that's basically what it is. It's John Mulaney getting other funny people, and they just pick something to talk about, and they just talk. It's like basically a podcast on TV. All right, and it's just I don't know. I'm a watcher.
Okay.
I'm a watcher, and I enjoy live television, and it's live. Like, it's not something they tape.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's live. They do it live. I believe it's 9 o'clock Central, live on Netflix every Wednesday night.
Okay, John.
So the series has gotten good reviews. It's popular. It's done good numbers. There's no reason to think it won't be back for another season, but tonight is the season finale, so you can catch it 9 o'clock on your Netflix app.
What's the best thing we've read?
Pat Forty, SI.com, is down in Florida at the SEC spring meetings, and he's writing about what everybody else is writing and talking about, which is the future of the college football playoff and how the SEC, in conjunction with the Big Ten, is trying to manipulate the entire process in whatever way it can. They know, the Big Ten and the SEC, that they're carrying the big guns right now. They have the power to push people around, and it doesn't appear that they're shy about wielding that power. So if you haven't read that yet, good stuff from Pat. You can find it at SI.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be Thursday. That means Mike Wallace. Yep. He'll help us look back at Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Help us get ready for Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll try to enjoy mine. Let's meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful. Be kind. Be good. Rep your hood.